10-time world champion, Australian boxing champion, K1 star, and the man who put Australian Muay Thai on the global map.
I love Muay Thai and I love MMA. Love the cage and I love the little gloves. With the evolution of the sport and the popularity of the sport where it is today, I feel I had 1% of that becoming something that is now. So satisfied that I contributed just that little bit to help it where it is now.
From sleeping on wooden floors in Thailand and earning his stripes as the lone Westerner in camp, to becoming the first Australian to fight at Lumpini Stadium, John Wayne's story is pure resilience and reinvention.
There's no better motivation than poverty. So laying on the floor, just looking up, going, I have to be successful. I don't want to live like this. I want to eventually have my own home. And through fighting, I have to win. I have to train harder. I want to be the best.
John Wayne Parr!
This is his story about culture, sacrifice, ghosts in the gym.
If the ghost doesn't like you, the ghost will put his hand over your mouth and nose and suffocate you in your sleep.
Legacy and family. From his own battles in and out of the ring to passing the torch to his 3 kids, who are now carrying the Parr name into the next era in multiple combat sports.
I see how much they want it, and they had the passion to want to win.
Jazzy just won, Jesse just won,
Yeah.
Gemma just won. An entire fighting family.
More exciting than my fighting. More inspiration to try and win, because I wasn't just fighting for me anymore. Now I was fighting for my family.
Well, because I was going to ask, why did you keep going back into the ring after all these cuts and after all the fear?
Besides the money, the legacy.
What is legacy to you? On today's episode, we sit down with one of the most decorated Muay Thai fighters in history. John Wayne Parr, the 10-time world champion, Australian boxing champion, K1 star, and the man who put Australian Muay Thai on the global map. From sleeping on wooden floors in Thailand and earning his stripes as the lone Westerner in camp, to becoming the first Australian to fight at Lumpini Stadium, John Wayne's story is pure resilience and reinvention. He's fought nearly 150 times across Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing, carving out a career that spans continents and generations. This is his story about culture, sacrifice, ghosts in the gym, legacy, and family. From his own battles in and out of the ring to passing the torch to his 3 kids, who are now carrying the Parr name into the next era in multiple combat sports. This conversation isn't just about the fights. It's about what it takes to survive them, to evolve a sport, and to leave behind a legacy bigger than belts. This is John Wayne Parr, aka the Gunslinger, and this is the Versus Podcast. So I usually start the podcast off with, I guess, a standard question, but I'm going to start it off a little bit differently with you because you're pretty funny. I think that you're pretty funny. I mean, if you don't follow John Wayne's Instagram, I mean, there's always some jokes there, always some really good ones, but also just the book too. I found myself giggling a little bit throughout. So let's start off with. Do you have a favorite martial arts, combat sports related joke?
So I have. So my lead arm, I've discovered it's become a hooker. Yeah, and then I look down at my knees and I said, I tell you once, I tell you twice. And then I look at my hands and they got a job at Facebook. But they can't, they all have different cars. So why don't you guys meta carpool to work? Meta carpool. That was good. That would meta carpool. And then I looked at my elbow and thought, now that's just humorous, isn't it?
Oh, no. Oh, gosh.
The anatomy of the body.
Scientific, too. I love that. I can just see our video editor going, brr, brr, brr. Cue the sound effect with the brr, brr, brr. I think we might need to do that. All right. Well, thank you for that.
I was just taking a jab, sorry.
Oh, no.
No, it never ends. It doesn't end.
Wait, I feel like there's going to be more throughout the episode. We'll just pick out all the gems and all the sound clips are going to be your jokes and your puns. Amazing. Have you always been this funny?
Yeah, I was an only child majority of my life, and then I went to 11 different schools. Yes. And then I learned that no one picked on the funny guy. So I soon realized if I'm the funny, no one will beat me up. And then, and then my dad was funny too, so I started becoming this like little, like a survival instinct almost.
Ah, okay.
And that helped me become like one of the get picked up by the cool kids in school, and then that was my survival mechanism. Was just trying to be humorous.
Now I'm going to actually ask you. I'm going to go back to our usual question that we ask. All right. Okay. So when our viewers finish listening, watching this episode, what is the one thing that you hope that they'll see differently about the fight, whether that's in the sport or in life?
I'm very lucky through Muay Thai. I love the Muay Thai, and I love MMA, and then I love the cage, and I love the little gloves. But it's like, how can we evolve Muay Thai so we can get the recognition that the MMA guys are? And then why don't I put the Muay Thai fighters in the same environment as the MMA guys in the cage with the little gloves? And then even though we're not grappling, we still have that same appeal, that same aura of being locked in the cage, and just that fascination that we have. And it's just a different mindset too. You hear the cage door close, and you know that with the little gloves that every punch is a potential knockout punch. So it just adds the excitement to the fight even more so. So I'm so happy that I was able to evolve the sport from virtually no one understood the concept of what I was trying to come up with at this time, and now that it's regular at Lumpini Stadium on a Friday night with guys, Muay Thai fighters fighting MMA gloves, and I can't help but feel I had 1% of that becoming something it is now. So with the evolution of the sport and the popularity of the sport where it is today, I feel so satisfied that I contributed just that little bit to help it where it is now.
Okay. Well, it contributed that, but also so much more to bringing the sport to Australia. And also, you were just recently, 2 nights ago, inducted into...
Yeah, a little bit of Hall of Fame stuff.
Yeah, so. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's very, very cool to be recognised after all the years of blood, sweat and tears and everything else. So.
Well, we'll get into the blood and the sweat in a bit. Let's go back to when you left home and how you ended up leaving home to Thailand and meeting Richard. What's that story?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate. At the age of 17, I was going to fight my very first Thai. So a friend of mine, he was training with some Thais, and they came and visited me saying, look, if you're going to fight a Thai, you need to train with a Thai. So here's my friend, he's a chef. And then he introduced me to Richard, who had another restaurant. And then as a sponsorship, you can come down to the restaurant and come and have a meal once a week for free. And then, so eventually, I was only about a 10-minute walking distance from Richard's restaurant, so I'd pop down there regularly, and then I'd just sit on the top of the fridge in the kitchen and listen to Richard's stories as he's preparing the satay skewers and everything else, and hear about this fascinating land of where their national sport's Muay Thai, and then the fighters are put on a pedestal and regarded as superstars, and it was just this mysterious place where it's like, especially coming from a country where there's football and cricket, and all of a sudden there's another country out there that actually respects the fighters. It's like, I need to eventually one day get there. So I had about 3 or 4 fights that year. Richard came and supported me every time, and then I was happy to win and put on some exciting fights. And then at the end of the year, I had a very hard fight where I got dropped in the second round with the leg kicks. And then I was very lucky to come back and win by knockout in the last 60 seconds of the 5th round. And then the next day I took down my new belt to show Richard, woo, we won. And he was so excited. He's like, I believe you have the potential to take this sport all the way. How would you be interested to going to Thailand and learning from the best? So I'd love to go to Thailand. And so I tell you what I do. If you can organise your passport, I'll do the rest. So I went to the post office, sent away. A week later, the passport came in the mail. Went down to the shop, hey Richard, my passport came. And he richly grabbed me by the wrist, walked me down the end of the street where the travel agent was, and we sat down and said, I want a 1 open 6-month ticket, please, for my fighter here. And then he said, I'll organise your camp, I'll organise your transportation, I'll do everything for you. All you have to do is promise me 6 months. If you come back within 6 months and you can't handle it, like, don't come and see me. Me and you will be finished. But if you can last 6 months, you'll make me so proud. I can do that. So so he jumped on the plane, went to Thailand overseas for the first time. And
that's an incredible vote of confidence.
Yes.
From Richard. What do you think that he saw in you? I just want to make sure. Okay, that's on. What do you think that he saw in you?
I'm not sure. I'm just so lucky that, especially being a Thai, supporting an Aussie to live in Thailand, it's so bizarre. It's very Karate Kid style. It's very Karate Kid-esque. to be taken by the old Asian man, and he wasn't a fighter either. He was just an entrepreneur that was a really good chef that loved the sport of Muay Thai. Every time the Thai team came to Australia to compete against the Aussies, he'd always go to the hotel and give them like food every day and pocket money so they could go and buy little things for their family and take them to the zoos and stuff so they could enjoy their Australian experiences. So his heart was just so huge. And then, to be taken under his wing and to give him the opportunities is, I feel very... Well, actually, the name Boonshu means blessed by the gods.
Yes.
So ever since I met Richard, I just feel like I have this little angel on my shoulder that's been taking care of me ever since.
Aww.
So, and then taking on the name Boonshu as well, it's also helped... it just feels like a little angel. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So he took you under his wing, but then he sent you off and said you need to go for 6 months.
Yes.
you need to dedicate yourself.
There's no
6
point
months.
going a week or a month because you learn a little bit and then you come back to Australia and then you fall into the same muscle memories and the same protocols. But if I go for 6 months, then it'll be more the muscle memory from the Thai style, and then. And then after 6 months, I came back to Australia again. I'm thinking, that was amazing. That was so cool. I had 5 fights for 5 wins. And then I started working in Richard's restaurant, just wondering what I was going to do with my life from that stage forward. And then fortunately for me, the Thai camp ran Richard and said, we believe he has potential to go all the way over here. Is there any chance you could please send him back to our camp? So Richard calls me into the kitchen. Hey, John Wayne, do you want to go back to Thailand? I'd love to get back to Thailand. He said, okay, for the first time we did 6 months, that was cute. But this time, can you promise me 1 year? And I said, yeah, for sure, definitely, I can do it. I love Thailand. I did. So a week or so later, packed my bags, back on the plane. And that year ended up having 9 fights for 7 wins. And then end up winning the strongest Westerner in Thailand for 1997. I made the front cover of the magazine a couple times, 3 times. Started fighting on Thai TV and on the King's birthday in Lumpini Stadium. And it was such a crazy year. It was so cool.
I mean, it's to be noted too. Like you said, it was 1997, right? And you do say, obviously, in the book, and because of my age too, I also know what that time was like. Like you said, there was no social media. There's a part in the book that you're like, kickboxing and Muay Thai was starting to become big on the internet. Because there wasn't any social media. And when you went to Thailand to train, you said you had your Walkman. The 7-Eleven was 15 minutes away sometimes, or the movie theater was 30 minutes away. There was nothing else that could distract you. So you were really, that was a different time.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Right?
And then not being able to speak the language either. Yes. So where I was situated in Nonthaburi, it was pretty much just, I was the only Westerner in the whole city. So, and I could say Sawadi. And then because I was surrounded by the Thais, I got to the stage where I need to learn this language if I want to survive here for long term. So I try and learn 5 words a day. What's this? What's that? What's this? And then at night time go over them. And then next day I knew 5 words. All right, this. And then eventually I started getting sentences and then paragraphs. And then all of a sudden I started listening to the news and the songs. And then just to be accepted by the locals, it was. And then when I started fighting on TV, I'd run down the street the next morning or the next couple of days later, and people start flashing their lights and beeping their horn and recognizing me in the streets. Right. And then it was so rewarding to be accepted in the area. And except for when I lost, then everyone would pay me out and give me, hey, John Wayne, you lose me money. Right? Why you lose me money? Why you no win? So in that perspective, it sort of sucked. But it was definitely a different time. Now you get back to Thailand, and there's so many Westerners there, and the camps are so commercialized. So what happened was when I first got there, no camps want to accept any Westerners. There's only Sidyutong pretty much, and maybe 1 or 2 other gyms, but every other gym was anti-Westerner. They believed that if we teach you our style, eventually you're going to start beating us at our own sport. But Sidyutong was open because I could see with Mr. Yotong, he was such a legend. Do you know his story?
I don't know his story.
So he was got the most champions that have ever won in all of Thailand with Samat Pakaroon and all the Chat and then all these other guys. Yeah. And then he won the lottery. So he won like, I'm just having a guess here, but like let's say like 50 million baht, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he kept approximately maybe 5 million for himself, and then he gave the rest to charity. He'd please come and tell me your story. So people would line up around the corner, and then one by one, okay, I have this, and this. Can you? All right, and then slowly, all right, here's 10,000 baht. All right, here's 5,000 baht. All right, here's and then he donated the rest. Just just crazy considering. Yeah, it's just Thai people are so generous and. It's really crazy to see, but he got me off the ground. Okay. So I stayed at Sijutong for 3 months, and then because it was so commercialized and so many Westerners, it was very hard to progress. 3 rounds on the pads, 20 rounds on the bag. Next day, 20 rounds on the bag, maybe 3 rounds on the pads. Only because there were so many people. And
which is luckily, still how it is.
Yeah, luckily for me. Sang Ten Noi came to Australia and fought Johnson, I'm sorry, at the casino here. And then because they were here, they got to meet Richard, and Richard took him around and gave him some jeans and sunglasses, and took him around to the zoos and see the kangaroos. And then at the end of their trip, he said, "Oh, my fighter's currently in Thailand. Is there any chance when you come back, could you take him to your camp?" "Oh, look, we don't like Westerners, same old spiel." And then Richard kept begging them, please, he's such a good kid. Says, "Oh, fine, we'll bring him to our camp." So when they arrived back in Thailand, they came and picked me up and took me straight to the camp. And then that's when I realised, they Sang Ten showed me around the camp. So here's the boxer room, and it was just a wooden floor. Right. All right, and here's the boxer toilet, and it was the old squat toilet with no toilet paper. You had to wipe your bottom with water, and then there was the old shower where there was no shower. It was just a basin full of cold water that you had to splash yourself with a plastic bucket to get wet, lather up, then rinse off. So we train 3 hours in the morning, have breakfast, rest during the day, and then another 3-4 hours in the afternoon, 6 to 7 days a week. Right. And then, the camp survived off the fighters. So
how many other fighters, were there?
When I first got there was approximately 12.
Okay.
And then
you were the only Westerner, of course.
Only Westerner. And then about my second fight, I won my fight. I went to Pattaya for 7 days for a holiday. When I came back, all the fighters ran away. So what happened was one of the fighters started showing that it had a bit of money, started having nice jeans and nice shirts and had the nice glasses. Then the owner of the camp put him into the room saying, "Hey, if I find out that you're throwing your next fight for money, you're going to wind up in a ditch somewhere." So that night he convinced all the other fighters, "Look, the owner's crazy. He's going to kill us all. We've got to get out of here." So they all packed their bags and they all ran away in the middle of the night before the owner could come back. So when I came back from my holiday, there was only the trainers, Sang Ten, me, and a 10-year-old boy, and then pretty much from that moment for the next 3 years, it was just the three of us. And then the whole camp survived off our prize money. So it was a 50% split. So every time I fought, I'd give them 50% of my prize money, and that would cover my accommodation, food, and training for the preparation for each fight.
Okay. But everything was on you. Like you said, the pressure. I mean, there was a 10-year-old boy there too, but I don't know how much money he was bringing. Is this where you also got the name John?
Yes. So every fighter has a fight name. Yes. So Sang Ten Noi, so his fight name translates to the small candlelight flame. And then there's another fighter, for instance, his name was Sanliam, which means 100,000 techniques. So every fighter has their own, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So when I was going to have my first fight for the camp, they said, "All right, what are we going to call you?" "I don't know. What's your history?" I said, "I grew up on farms and with horses." "Oh, so you're a cowboy." "Oh, we're going to call you John Wayne." I'm like, ew. Ew. Oh, that's so gross.
Okay.
And then I'm thinking, I'm in Thailand, no one will know, so I'll ride the John Wayne thing while I'm in Thailand, and when I go back to Australia, I'll be like the Punisher or the something. And then I got famous. And now this name stuck with me, and now I can't shake it. So. But
did you legally change your name?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's still just my stage name.
Okay.
So I tell everyone my name's John Wayne, and when my bills come, it's just normal Wayne.
But then from there, from the cowboy kind of moniker, that's where you became the gunslinger,
The
right?
gunslinger, yes. It all evolved from there. So
Yeah. And then what else did they call you? Something like the kangaroo.
Oh,
Well, there you
the
go.
dangerous kangaroo.
The dangerous kangaroo.
Yeah, so Jinjo Mahagan in the Thai translation. So when I made my first front cover in the magazine, I took the magazine because I couldn't read it. What does it say? And they said, oh, Jinjo Mahagan, the dangerous kangaroo.
No way.
I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because at that stage, there was no Aussies.
Yeah.
There was plenty of French, plenty of Dutch. But no Australian had really made their mark over there yet. And then even when I go there and tell people I'm from Australia, do Australians even do Muay Thai? I guess I'm here. I guess they do. And then,
I do.
And then, it was really fun when, let's say, the world team would come and fight the Thai team, and then I get thrown in the mix, and you go to the Waynes, and you see, like, Stefan and Raymond Deckers and Danny Bill and all these others, Stikabowski, and it was just, so cool. It was a really, really magical time.
Right. When did you feel, because you said, when you started to feel accepted by the Thais, like, was there a turning point there when you felt that? Or was it more that you were learning the language and really trying to assimilate into the culture? Or was it when you won a fight and you had the respect?
I think when I first got to the camp, I started fighting at a small amateur stadium just for kids. Majority, they were just like little 8 to 14-year-olds. And then I was like a special fight that's going to compete. And then I won my first fight by knockout. And then my second fight, I fought a really hard guy. And then I went to 5 rounds, won by decision. Like by the last 10 seconds, I landed a couple more kicks than the other guy. And then that night, just to be Sangtin coming up and giving me a hug and saying, oh, you really proved yourself. You really proved your stripe. You earned your stripes tonight. You're one of the boys. We're so proud to have you on our team. I was like, yes. And then, from there.
How good would that feel, yeah?
Yeah, it's really, really nice to finally, you're not just the novelty. You're actually one of the fighters.
Yes,
And then, from there. And then after 5 fights, I went home to Australia. And when I came back again, I'd only been there maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And nothing was planned. Saint had a big fight in Pichit in the country, Thailand. So I went with him to support him. And then at the weigh-in, Songchai, the promoter, was very upset. Oh, where's Danny Bill? Danny Bill was supposed to be here to compete against the one of the main events. What are we going to do? And then my trainer, without asking, puts his hand up. My guy will take it. My fighter will fight him. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? I haven't even
which fighter?
I haven't trained. I haven't fight trained. I'm just training, but I'm not ready.
You're not in fight camp. You're not yet.
And then Songchai's looking at me up and down and goes, oh, I can't give you Danny Bill's opponent because I don't know who you was. Does anyone in the room want to fight this Westerner? And 30 hands went up in the room, and I'm like, oh, no. And then they got like 6 guys to come and stand beside me to see who was the closest to weight. All right, you fight. So you're booked tomorrow now, and then they, lucky for me, ended up having a 5-round war on this massive card, and then in front of 40,000 people out in a park in the middle of nowhere. Right. And then won by points, and then got cut. And then from that moment forward, Songchai said, "That was so exciting. From now on, you're officially one of my fighters." And that's how it evolved to become one of Songchai's. And then from then on in, just bigger, and every show was bigger, and and eventually got to be the first Australian to fight at Lumpini Stadium because of Songchai. So yeah.
Tell us about that. That's iconic.
Yeah. So I won the first fight by accident, just being there at the right time. And then when Songchai was walking past the change room, the trainer of the opponent that I fought was yelling at his fighter saying, "You're useless. How could you lose to a Westerner? You make me sick." That guy was terrible. I could have beat him. I've been retired for 3 years. I could even smash him. And Songchai overheard. He said, "Are you serious? Do you think you can beat him? How about in 2 months' time? Done." So now I'm in the magazines. I'm fighting this superstar, the former retired champion from Rajadamdurn, and his fight name was Breakout of Hell with Punches.
Okay, all right. Open it up. Legit to that chapter break.
So and then so the first fight was in front of 40,000. This was in front of 60,000. So they were hearts pounding away, and then. And because he hadn't fought for so long, my trainer was very adamant that would be able to, if we applied him lots of pressure, would be able to break him eventually because he, without the cardio, and it's hard to regain the cardio when you've been retired for so long. So yeah, just pressure. And then I ended up making him quit in halfway through the third round. And then, from there, it just kept evolving. And then that's when the opportunity came, the fight at Lumpini Stadium for the very first time.
So the fight that you were just talking about, this was with Peanut.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
Peanut Butter Trainer.
So in the book, and I found this, I wanted just to read this and ask you about it. You say, after you had won, it was necessary to pay respect not only to who Rukter was, but who he had been. Oh, sorry, Peanut is Rukter.
No, Peanut is my trainer. Peanut is
Peanut is your trainer, but you were fighting Rukter.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so it was necessary to pay respect not only to who Rukter was, but who he had been beforehand, and to all the things he had achieved. After all, by beating him, in some ways, his achievements had become my own.
Yes. It feels like you're taking on their aura.
Yeah.
It feels
like... Tell us about, can you unpack a little bit about kind of that, the aura, the mysticism, but in this book, and just from, your posts and from what I know about you, you've always respected the legend and the history of the sport. It doesn't just seem like it's all just the violence and the physicality. Obviously, that's a big part. But, yeah, I mean, it just seems that you really respected the culture, the Thai culture.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. Peanut took me under his wing very early when I arrived at the camp. And then he could speak a little bit of English from watching the Bee Gees and watching Carrie. He'd read the English translates, and then he'd start picking up the language. So he was the only one that could really speak at the camp. And then we'd spend hours together. And then... teaching me, he said, I don't want to teach you to just Muay Thai. I want to teach you how to be a Thai. I want to teach you our customs and our superstitions and everything else. And then when I fought Rukti, he said, because he's older, it's best to go on your knees and pray on the ground to say thank you for the fight. If it's someone younger, you don't go down. And then because he didn't have to fight me, and because he did fight me, just to show you respect him for the opportunity to compete against him, and it's very very lucky. And then learning the different superstitions as well. So Peanut, so I'll tell you my ghost story.
Yeah. Oh.
So my very first night in the camp, I got introduced to this is the boxer room. Okay. So we've got into the camp. All the Thai boys are talking. So I'm trying to fit in. So I lay down on the floor, and we had this wooden pole in the middle of the room. And I lay down on my back and I put my feet on this pole. And the Thais all stop talking, look at me. One of the Thais runs, jumps, pushes my legs off the pole, going, oh, you can't put your feet on the pole. A ghost lives in the pole. So when people die, their spirits go in the trees. So when you cut the trees down, sometimes the spirits come into the house. That's why everyone has ghost houses in front of their...
Okay.
And then, so my very first night there, I went to bed. And then during my dream, I've seen this this figure floating behind me, like all sheets and stuff. So you have to believe that I live in this room, respect my privacy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then the next night I had another dream, and I seen this face just hovering above me. And all of a sudden that face went woof, and went through me. One of those ones where you sit up and go, ah! And then the third time, I had a sleep paralysis. Okay. Yeah, so bad.
Yeah, no, that's
so yeah, so I gone to sleep, and next minute I felt this pressure, boof, and then you're awake, but you can't wake up. So, and then you want to move, and you want to wake up the person beside you so they can wake you up because they can see you're struggling. Yeah. And then, but you can't move still, and then eventually, the more you fight, the longer it lasts, and then eventually, you feel the pressure raise up, and you wake up, and then the next morning I woke down and see my trainer Peanut and said, Peanut, I had the craziest dream last night. I felt like I had this all this pressure on my chest and couldn't move. I was, oh, that's just a ghost sitting on your chest at night time. So nothing to worry about. If the ghost doesn't like you, the ghost will put his hand and mouth over your mouth and nose and suffocate you in your sleep. So it's good that you're still here.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. I'm like...
So for the next 4 years, I got held down in my sleep probably 4 or 5 times a week. Whether it be nighttime or daytime. If you're having a daytime, that you could get hit as well. Just fully stuck during the day. It was terrifying. It was so terrifying. As soon as I moved back to Australia, it stopped.
So it was just there.
Just that room.
Just that room.
Just
not
that room.
in Thailand, but like that room specifically.
Just that room, yeah. For me anyway. And then what would happen before fights, the Thais would put flowers around and then they'd get little bits of water and flour and decorate the pole with like little dots to show that, and then spray it with perfume to make the female ghost feel pretty and and then asking permission to give you strength, boy, when you cross the ropes to give you inner strength for the fight. So yeah, very not only just Muay Thai, but you're having to deal with the other world.
Oh my gosh! But like having the ghost sitting on your chest for four nights a week. Is that what you said?
It was terrible. In daytime too. Daytime you'd have a nap. Next minute you just feel this. And then you're stuck again, and then, it was absolutely terrifying.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. We will be back with John Wayne in a second. But if you're training to become a legend and a weapon like he is, you know that you need to be prepared. You need to be sharp, and you need to walk into every session ready. And that's why we built the Versus Pro Fighters Bag, the Founders Edition. We talk to athletes and coaches like yourself, and we designed an 86-liter system organized for athletes who train with purpose. It fits your full kit, including all your gloves and protective gear. It has foldable internal dividers for custom organization. It has a spot for even the biggest of gis, a ventilated compartment for your shoes, a pocket for your helmet, water-resistant materials, and a separate wet-dry pocket. Everything was designed to keep your gear structured so that your mind stays clear. With the Founders Drop, you get special pricing, you get a numbered Founders Edition bag, and access to our private mindset and mastery event. Production is already underway. Head over to versus-fightgear.com to claim your Founders Edition. All right, back to the episode. In your book, you mentioned, obviously, the regimen, the work ethic that's involved, especially with the physicality training in Thailand at that time. I'm curious if you ever talked mindset, psychology.
Not really. I got to the stage where I was living on a wooden floor, and then we'd have restaurant in the day, so we weren't allowed to do anything strenuous. Otherwise, we wouldn't have energy for the afternoon session. So it was pretty much mandatory. We have to have like the daytime naps.
Okay.
And then,
with the ghost sitting on your chest, apparently. Okay.
But just laying on the floor, just thinking. There's no better motivation than poverty. So laying on the floor, just looking up, going, I have to be successful. I don't want to live like this. I want to eventually have my own home, and I want to through fighting. I have to win. I have to train harder. I don't want to be a number. I want to be the best. And then just no furniture, no couches or seats or lounges, just wooden floor, and we'd sit on the cross-legged when we eat our meals. So, and that just gives you the motivation to want to win, because every time you win, your prize money goes up a little bit, and every time you lose, it goes down a little bit. So you have to give it everything you have. Yeah. And then I was my own motivation is just to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Sitting cross-legged on the floor, although you said when you first got there you weren't able to do that.
Yeah, it was so hard. And then you don't want to, because the rice is on the ground, so you lean over your hips and to get to your rice, and then it was just agony. And then eventually, it got easier and easier. Yeah. But at the start, I felt like such, I definitely felt like because the Thai boys, and then they're trying to invite you in, and because you can't do what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
And then on the, like I said, because I was the only Western in my area, when on our day off, we go to the shopping centre, or they go to the cinemas or something, and then my parents would grab their kids, and the kids would just point at you as you're walking down the street, because they'd never seen a Westerner before, and so there was no chance of just blending in to be normal. Everywhere you went, you're always reminded that you're the odd one.
Yeah.
But then you win. It's so much special because they don't expect you to be competitive. And not only are you competitive, but then you beat them at their own game, and all of a sudden there's 20 Thais waiting for you at the corner to come down the stairs when you come down off the ring, and little kids just like excited to, it's really special to be accepted.
So you were in and out of Thailand for a bit, and there's also a part in the book that you were talking about. I think when you were coming back to I think you were based in Melbourne because you've moved around a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot, right?
A lot.
So I think you also said, the monotony or just kind of the same thing happening in Melbourne where you didn't have a sense of routine, right? Do you think if you didn't have Muay Thai or sport or martial arts, like where would you be right now?
Good question. I had aspirations of being a chef. Yeah, so I used to.
Why you talked to Richard.
Yeah, so I used to work in kitchens when I was a kid, washing dishes and for about 2-3 years. And then in year 10, at the age of 15, I signed the paperwork to become an apprentice. And then, but all the chefs, the whole time, I wanted me, don't do it. I work 14, 15, 16 hours a day. I have all this money. I have a nice house. I'm never there. I have a nice car. I never drive. I have a wife I never see who just left me because I'm never home. Don't do it. So I signed the paperwork. And then a week later, Mum and Dad come home from work saying, a bit of bad news. We're moving to Melbourne. So because you're so young, unfortunately, you got to come with us. So then as we were going to Melbourne, the brainstorm on maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should continue this kickboxing career instead of becoming an employee of a business. Yeah. So from that moment I thought, you know what, screw the chef. I'm just gonna give this 100% and see what happens, and if not, I'll go back to being a chef later. Yeah. And then luckily.
So do you know how to cook Thai food?
Oh, no. You barely have to do anything. Yeah. All the Thais do all the cooking and all the cleaning up and so all you got to do is concentrate and train, eat, sleep, and then repeat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so good.
Yeah. What do you think is the difference from how you trained back in that day, in the 90s and the 2000s, versus what you see now?
Like I said, everyone's singing about all this millions of dollars, and even the UFC guys, you never hear the people, the general public always complaining, these guys don't get paid enough. So you just gotta just do it because you love it. I don't want to do it because I'm rich. I want to do it because I want to be a legend. Yes. The money can come later. If I get good enough, I'll eventually get paid. But my main thing is I love being in camp. Yep. And I love competing in the ring or the cage. And then, you just got to follow your passion, and eventually, hopefully, you'll get rewarded on the other side. But if you're going in there for the money, thinking that it's going to be an easy road, you're in for a very rude shock.
And I guess that passion is what gets you through the pain. Let's talk about the blood.
Yeah. So before we change, so with the money, so it wasn't enough. It'd been just enough prize money to get to your next fight. Right. So you're always chasing the next fight. So you might make, but when I was there, I was making 20,000 baht, and because it was a 50-50 split, so I'd get 10,000 out of that 20. And then my next fight not be for 2-3 months. Right. So you got to try and survive off 10,000 baht is like 500 Aussie. So you got to try and survive a couple months on 500 bucks.
Because you don't have I'm getting paid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not guaranteed that your next fight will be every 2 months.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
right.
Whenever you've got...
Yeah, whenever the fight pops up. Yeah. So they were very fortunate that in the camp we provided 2 meals a day. So you got free accommodation, two meals. So you always guaranteed to have food in your tummy and a roof over your head. Yeah. And then whatever money you do make, you just mainly for snacks and entertainment for movies or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that way it helps you survive a little bit longer. Yeah. But it's like this. The Thais used to call me John Wayne Never Die, because I get to my last 100 baht, then my fight would come, and I get to my last, and then boom, another fight. Every time I was just there. Or does he have to go home, and then I get enough money to stay another 3. It was this constant struggle, and even all the way through. It's so crazy. Boxing money is huge. MMA money is huge, but Muay Thai just stays stagnant and hardly goes up at all. So it's just very tough. Mm-hmm. We need that marketing tool where we could expose like the fighters' life stories, and I think people would be more invested then. Yeah. because with the Muay Thai at the moment, all you see is red and blue corner. They fight each other. All right, hand gets raised. All right, next. Whereas the UFC and the boxing, they do like the road to. So you see their lifestyles, living in how they associate with different people and their hobbies and interests, and then you feel invested because this guy's really cool.
Yes,
and then you want to support them more. Whereas Muay Thai, we don't get that exposure.
Yeah.
So
we're not telling the stories as much.
yeah,
right?
for sure.
What about One or K1? I mean, they're starting.
Oh, definitely, yeah. One's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
They've really helped elevate the superstars, your Super Bonds and your Road Tongues and your Stamp Fair Texas.
Yes.
They're household names now, thanks to One.
Yes, yeah.
So, but before then, we hardly had that, nothing. Yet we had the magazines if you were a keen supporter, but besides that, yeah. And then look at the UFC, how they promote their stars, their household names.
Yeah.
So we just need that marketing tool, I believe, to help elevate the sport to get to the next level.
Okay. What about Australian Muay Thai? I'm just learning about Australian Muay Thai more so as I've been here. I think on Saturday there was Rebellion or something.
Oh, yes,
right?
yes. So 2000s, we had the magazine that would come out once every 2 months. We had Fox Sports that would come out once a week or so. They do all the different shows and the commentary with Mark the Hammer and Michael Chiavello. And then there was a real buzz.
Yeah.
We had massive shows, Evolution and Tarek Solik doing his shows in Melbourne, and it was a really exciting time, especially with the magazine, because the old days. I'm really what's the word I'm looking for? It's unfortunate for the kids that they don't get the magazines anymore, because you have your fight and then you go down to the newsagents and you get to see a little clip it and then you get to cut it out and put it in your scrapbook. Yeah. Whereas now you're just on the internet for 24 hours and now it's disappeared like a week later. Yeah. And then you can't.
Shelf life isn't.
Yeah, you can't cut it out and put it in the book anymore, and you can't. Yeah. So in that respect, it's sort of a bit sad for the up and coming guys. Mm-hmm. And then before, we had the Fox Sports, the Muay Thai and the Fox Sports once a week, and that was another opportunity for the younger fights to be on TV and to build their name and to build their profile. Now with all those things, it's really hard to get your name out there and to shine.
Right. What was it like seeing yourself on TV for the first time?
Ooh. I was on TV in Thailand and then in magazines in Thailand and front covers in Thailand before I made anything over here, which was bizarre. Mm-hmm. It was so crazy. And then we had a Japanese reporter that was living in Thailand, based in Bangkok. And then every time I'd fight, she'd write stories about me and send it back to Japan. I was making all the magazines. Right. And then in '98, when eventually I had my first fight in Japan, when I write, everyone knew who I was already. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? How do these people know where? And then, no, we've been following you for ages. And then, end up very fortunate to fight in Japan 17 times over the course of 10 years. Yeah. So crazy. So between Thailand and Japan, probably close to 50 fights between those two countries. Yeah.
I think it's wild. Just again thinking back to, because now it's super easy to see kind of how people recognize you, or if people recognize you, because you can just see who's following you on social media, the comments, the engagement. But back then, you would land in another country and go, oh shit, people actually know me.
Yeah,
right?
It's bizarre.
And
so
then you
bizarre.
see like you said the magazines, but you didn't know what it said, and you're like, oh, the dangerous kangaroo, right?
And then 2004, 2005, I was very fortunate to sign with K1. Yes. And then the K1 was they'd get approximately 15 to 20,000 in the stadiums, but then it was televised live in Tokyo, and then we had a TV audience of 20 million. So it was the biggest, number one sport in all of Japan at the time, the K1. And then seeing that sort of what's the word? So when we would arrive, we would get to the hotel and you just get mobbed by the fans in the foyer. And then you finally get to the lift. And then when you come downstairs again, when the doors open up, 20 people would rush towards the lift there for photos and signatures. And it'd take you 20 minutes to get outside the hotel. Yeah. And then you go get something to eat. And then when you come back, you have to do that 20 minutes to get back into the hotel again. And then the first day you think, this is amazing. Yeah. And then after 3 or 4 days, you think, this sucks. Every time you go downstairs, it's like, no. But then,
let me go.
It was so cool to be recognized and appreciated and respected. And Japan was so amazing. They put their fighters really on a pedestal to get, because every other country, you might get a hero there, but to actually be mobbed, it was really fascinating.
How do you not let that fame get to your head, that celebrity get to your, or
when you're right back in Australia, you just become back to just the blending into normal society again. Really? For those 5-6 days we're in Japan, you're walking around, it feels like you're floating on air. You're so pumped and so excited, and then when you get back to Australia and reality check, you're just back to being. Just no one, not even a second glance. No one cares in Australia. It was so sad. Yeah, it was fun to be a superstar for a couple of days and come back and just be normal again.
Okay, so you did have a little bit of sense of you were brought back down to earth.
Oh, for sure.
I guess. But how long did it take between like the fights in Japan and Thailand to being recognized in Australia? How long was that gap? How big was that gap? And what happened in between that?
Yeah, so I started fighting. My first fight on Fox Sports was 1998. I fought a gentleman from England called Chris Allen. Okay. And then I'd been in Thailand for 2.5 years by that stage, and I really wanted to show the Australian audience what I'd learned overseas and how strong I'd become and how technical. Little did I know my opponent was had razor sharp elbows. Yes, that one.
Okay, this one. This is the one. Okay.
Yeah, so he cut me in the first. He cut me in the second. The referee tried to stop it in the third from a third cut. Luckily, I played with the referee. Please don't stop it. Please don't stop it. And then I fought in the fifth, another cut. And then the fifth round, I took one more elbow to the forehead that cut me to the skull. And blood was spurting in front of me for the first time. And then the fight got stopped. So I went back to the change room and the doctor came in, inspected me and said, look, I can't put you together until the end of the event because I have to be ringside for the rest of the show. So as soon as the show's done, I'll come and put you together. So he put some butterfly on my tape to stop me from bleeding everywhere. And then at the end of the evening, came back in the dressing room. He was preparing his suture kit. And then out of curiosity, excuse me, doc, what time is it? He goes, it just turned midnight. I'm like, it's my birthday. I just turned 22. He goes, happy birthday, pick a cut. So for the first 2 hours of my 22nd birthday, I received 54 stitches. Yeah, it was the most worst birthday. And then the
54
next, and that morning I had to catch a plane back to the Gold Coast looking like the Elephant Man with all my face all swollen and eyes are closed and stitches all over my hair. It was a very interesting birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say humbling. I mean, because that was your first fight in Australia.
Yeah, and then thankfully, even though I lost, I made so much respect because I didn't give up. Yeah. And everyone's going, when can we see John Wayne again? He's like our future star. Yeah. And then from there on, when I came back to Australia and fighting on Fox regularly, it really helped elevate my profile very fast.
54 stitches. You had, like you said, 3? I love that he said pick your cut.
Yeah, pick a cut.
Pick a cut.
Yeah, the one in my forehead was the worst. It was to my skull. So he had to give me 10 internal stitches to put my forehead back together so I could frown and then put the skin out the top.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and then, it was rough. It was so bad. Yeah. And then, because it was my birthday, the next night we went into Surface and then on the actual birthday night. Yeah. And then,
you're all right?
You were it was terrible.
I was like...
it was hard. It was hard to entertain the ladies when you're 22.
I was gonna say. Picking up the ladies. That was it.
I got my nice shirt on. Hopefully that'll distract them from my face.
I love how honest you are too about like the weeks off or after a fight. You're like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna drink, we're gonna have some fun, right?
Oh, for sure.
But when you're stitched up,
in the camp, there was no female interaction. The only female that we had was the mum of the camp, and then the Sengtan's wife, and they'd prepare our meals and help set up things. And if we had any problems, we'd go and see the mum of the camp, and she'd help get disinfectant for small wounds or just like really like the mum of the camp. Yeah. And then, but outside of that, it was just men on men. Testosterone in the room with like 10 other dudes. And, but when it was fight time, and then you probably know before a fight, men have abstained from sort of doing anything as well. So try and get that testosterone. Yes. So you get 10 guys that are all, and then in the morning,
all pent up a little bit.
In the morning, you do the morning run and you see the buffalo give you a wink. You say, "Oh, are you winking at me?"
Okay. That's funny.
It was a very crazy time.
Yeah. You actually mentioned, which we'll get to in a bit, but I think it was one of your first fights. Was this in Vegas? And Angie was there.
Oh yes, Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your wife.
So when I first what happened? Did Thailand, came back to Australia, and then I wanted to be a boxer. So I won my first two world titles. Thought I'd done everything I wanted to do. Retired from Muay Thai. Went to boxing. Boxed for about a year, and then at the end of the year, I fought a gentleman for the Australian title over 12 rounds. He broke his hand in the first, and then he held me. And for 30 seconds, would break. He'd go jab, jab, hold me. He did that for 11 rounds, and then he won. And it's like, you can do that for 11. And didn't get one warning for holding me the whole time. And it was just like this most pathetic fight I've ever been in. I said, no, you know what? Screw this. I'm going back to Thailand again. What was that?
And we're talking about Angie.
Yeah. So when I got back to Thailand, screw this. I'm going to get out of the country. So I put a thing on the social media saying, is there any camps in America that want to take on an Aussie to be a trainer? And within 30 minutes, a gentleman called Master Toddy replied saying, we'd love to have you in Vegas. So he bought me a ticket. I flew to America, and then walking around the gym, there was all these posters of this female fighter with all these trophies and belts and medals. And
she's a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah. And then she was fighting for Scott Coker on the K1 shows as a super fight on the big Vegas cards. Yeah. And then I hadn't met her at this stage, and I'm like, who's this girl on all those posters? And they say, her name's Angie. She's going to be here in a couple of days.
So the poster was winking at you.
She's going to be here to be in the camp. And then she arrived on the Sunday, and then the moment that we said hello, it was like a 3-4 hour conversation, just like, and then because we're in the camp together, so we go eat breakfast together, go to the camp together, we go have a lunch together, and then it was just, we were stuck together 24/7. And then within that first week, we went on our very first day to the Bellagio. And
the Bellagio. Whoa, that's some bougie. That's like...
At the Bellagio, and then, and then...
Girl for dinner.
We had our first date, and then we fought on the same card at the Stardust. Remember the Stardust Casino before it closed? Yeah, so we fought at the Stardust. I fought a Thai, she fought another young lady. We both won. And then not long after, the camp that we were in wasn't really taking care of us the way that would sort of enough to be financially stable. So me and Angie come up with a plan. Let's move to San Diego. Okay. We had a friend there, Melcher Manor, that was working at a boxing gym, and he got me a job being a trainer there as well. So we lived there for 6 months. I had the opportunity to have 2 more fights while I was living in San Diego. One in New Mexico in Albuquerque. Okay. I fought a gentleman called Baxter Humpy, and he had one arm. Yeah, so he'd put a glove on the stump of the other arm and tape it on. Yeah. So that was crazy. And then I fought in France. Had a bad fight in that one. And then an opportunity to come and fight in Australia. Okay. So I flew back to Australia. Had the win. Went to go back through LA. And then when I got to LA, the immigration like, okay, when was the last time you were here? I said, I was here just 3 weeks ago. How long were you here for? 3 months. 3 months? You can't stay 3 months. Your visa's only 90 days. Isn't 90 days 3 months? So they counted 92. You're 2 days over your visa, buddy. You're on the next plane back to Australia. Next minute, I'm handcuffed, led to a holding room in the airport. And then every 10 hours, they had to come and shift me. So they come and handcuffed me again, took me outside, put me in a police car, took me to East LA jail. I got held at jail for like about 8 hours or so. And then eventually got sent back to Australia with a warning, you're banned from coming to America for five years. And my wife was like 8 months pregnant at that stage. She was pregnant. She was waiting for me in the waiting room at the airport, but I wasn't allowed to come out of the airport to see her. So. Right. So, yeah.
Gosh, and it's not like, did you text? You couldn't text message her and be like,
no phones, yeah. So we had air hostesses going backwards and forwards from the inside the airport, the outside there to relay messages. And they said, unfortunately, your husband's been deported and he's going to go back to Australia. So we had a little $600 car and like a little unit, self-contained granny flat sort of thing in the San Diego. So Angie had to sell everything up to save enough money for our plane ticket. Yeah. And then once you arrived to Australia, somehow or other my career just went poof. So I started getting all these fight offers. I started fighting, for the K1 not long after, and then the little Jazzy was born.
Yeah.
In 2003, Jazzy was born, and so now I had a more inspiration to try and win because I wasn't just fighting for me anymore. Now I was fighting for my family. Yeah. And then that was a massive inspiration to be successful also.
So it seems like the 2-day overstay was actually probably the best thing.
Oh yeah, looking back, it was the worst day of my life that turned out to be the biggest blessing that I could ever ask for. Because if I wasn't for that, I'd still be in America now. Yeah. We got married there. All Angie's family are there. The opportunity to make bigger money is there with the population and with a successful gym. But then luckily, as soon as I got deported, I started making phone calls to different promoters, and they were happy to put me on, and then it was very, very tough, but at the same time, very, very lucky that it all worked out.
It's so like you said, so much shift in your life at that point. You're back in Australia. The rise is starting to happen, right? Yes. You're starting to get more fights. And you've got a daughter. Did you know she was pregnant with a baby girl at the time?
So we met. Angie and I met on the 1st of March, and then we were married by the 1st of September. Wow! So within 6 months.
This is the Muay Thai love story. I love that you were on the same fight card too.
First of March, and then she told me she was pregnant on my birthday on the 25th of May. So the few mornings before my birthday, Angie, it's time to wake up. We've got to go for a run. Oh, I feel a bit sick. I might stay in my. Oh, geez, you're so lazy.
But you're like, that's not like her. Yeah. What is this? Who is this shit?
Jeez. And then, on my birthday, I found out, so what happened? I woke up on my birthday, and then Angie goes, I got a surprise. And she handed me a thermometer, but we didn't tell the temperature. This thermometer's broken. It's only got 2 stripes in it. It doesn't work.
You should go back to CVS and return it. Get your money back.
And then when Angie was pregnant, then I got deported, and then luckily Jazzy was born here in Australia. So the theory about what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas.
Doesn't stay in Vegas. Remember that, guys. Always remember that. So Jazzy was born. Jesse,
yes,
and Gemma.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, crazy.
Entire fighting family.
Yeah, so lucky. So we had the 3 kids, and then fortunately enough, all kids are really passionate about the martial arts. Yeah. It only would have taken one kid to like baseball or soccer or something to throw everything out of the works. But luckily pick the kids up from school, they come home, they change their clothes, they put their gym clothes on, they jump in the car, we hit the gym, we all train. It just works. Yeah. We're very fortunate. And then Jazzy's was Muay Thai, but she's fallen in love with boxing. Yeah. Jesse was Muay Thai, he's fallen in love with jiu-jitsu. My little Gemma, she's 11, and she's a little bits of everything right now.
Yeah, she just did a kids MMA.
Kids MMA. So it's one minute round. Yeah. But then you might do 2 or 3 during the day. So she did one, and then she had a bit of a break. Then an hour or so later, she had another one, and then she got a win. Yeah. And that gives our kids the opportunity to dip their toes in with not shin pads, no strikes to the head, no ground and pound. Okay. So it's mainly just a little bit of striking with jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Right. And then they like it. Then they have the potential in the future to pursue. Yeah. So it's a really good system where the kids aren't getting hurt and they can get a passion for the sport too.
Yeah, exactly. So because you mentioned that when Jazzy was 8. She started asking, or no, it was before that. She started asking when she could have her first fight.
Yeah,
her first fight.
7. So I see because we wanted to, hey, no rush. When you turn 8, thinking, hopefully she'll forget. And then on the day of her birthday, when she turned 8, hey, I'm 8 now. Can I start fighting? It's like, ooh, jeez, I forgot about that. And then we had a show coming up that wasn't too long away. So, all right, Jazzy, we'll put you on the poster. We'll make it like a little fun little kids event, kids fight. All the family came, and then I remember I rang the local newspaper. Yeah. I said, is there any chance we can do a little story about my 8-year-old daughter? Yeah. Because I'd love to have a little something in a scrapbook to remember for her very first fight. Yeah. And then they came and did the story, took some photos. They said, do you mind if we come to the event? We can do a follow-up story. I was like, this is amazing. How good is this? Yeah. Do you mind if we bring Channel 9? Oh, you want to bring the TV too? Oh, this is even better. And then little did I know that I was getting set up to fail because, as soon as the fight was over, the next morning I woke up. Jazzy got a draw, so the first round she took some leg kicks, had a little tear, and then she sucked it up and come back really strong second and third. Got a draw, we're very proud. The crowd were entertained so much. You know how they put like a little bit of money in the ring? Then there was like $200. So they gave both girls $100 each, and then not prize money, just like a little tip. And then the next day I walked down to the newsagent to see if there was any little write-ups in the paper, front page. And then the caption for the story was 2 8-year-old girls fighting in front of a crowd of drunken yobbos screaming for 8-year-old blood. And I'm like, what is this? This isn't the fight that I was watching yesterday. It was just 2 little girls like, right. And then, and then from that moment, my life just turned to hell for the next 7 days.
I was going to say how.
Because that first event, then they all fed off it. So the next morning I woke up to a knock on the door at 6 a.m, answer the door, and it was a current affair show saying, oh, we want to do an interview with you and the family. It's
just in front of your driveway.
It's 6 a.m. Do you mind coming back a little bit later? And then I went downstairs not long after to put the bins out, and they were sitting in front of my house in their car still. I said, I thought you guys were going to come back at 8. They said, we can't leave because if we leave, we lose our exclusive. Just to want to let you know, you're today's #1 trending story. So I'd suggest turning your phone off. And then from that moment, Channel 9, Channel 10, Channel 7, the radios just bombarded with all these different questions. And becoming the worst father in Australia for 7 days was so terrible.
I was gonna. How did you deal with that, and how did you?
Oh, and the worst part is you're reading all these stories and you're hearing these stories on the news and you're watching all these current affairs about you, but you have no way to respond. Mm-hmm. So they're saying all this stuff about you that's not even true. And then eventually a reporter reached out to me saying, "Hey, look, I work for this paper. I just want to let you know today's news is tomorrow's fish and chip wrapper. So if you stop replying to these guys, they'll forget about you and they'll move on to the next story. But because you keep replying, you're just feeding it. So stop replying. Yeah.
Stop giving it power.
Yeah, stop giving it. And then, from then it moved on. And then 2 years later, not long after Jazzy retired, I don't want this too much pressure. And then 2 years later, she came back again and she won by stoppage. And then the next day, she made the paper again saying the knockout queen is back. The 12 now she's like 12 or something. Yeah. It's like I'm not even 10. She's only 10. So but now it's humorous because like you guys are just trying to throw us on the bus now. Right. You didn't come to the fight. You don't know how well she fought. You're just writing this thing because you're writing this thing. And then as Jazzy got older, the 14s, 15s, 16s, and winning and fighting overseas and fighting in England and Canada, Thailand. They couldn't say anything now because now she's following her passion and has her own income through the fighting, and now she's becoming a star and a role model for future young female competitors. So how they tried to squash us to having it reverse and working in our favour was another blessing.
Yeah. She just recently won her match. That was in Sydney, right?
Yes.
Yeah, against Fash.
And now she has a big fight in November against a young lady called Mia. And this will be a very big fight as Mia's a big name down in Melbourne. And so...
when we're back here in Gold Coast, probably in November, I would love we'll chat with her because she's a weapon in her own right.
Oh, for sure.
I loved there was a video that she put up pre-fight against her match against Fash, but she was just warming up shadowboxing in the dressing room. And she'd finish and she'd be like, "You're too fast." She's just talking to herself. She's like, "You're just too fast." I was like, that is some great self-talk.
Oh, yes,
right?
For sure.
Yeah. Is it something that you instilled in her? Or?
Oh, no. She's been one of those kids that have always been self-motivated. To watch YouTube tutorials and next minute, hey, I can make my own lip gloss, and then like little things like that, and then leaving little notes around the house, so when she reads it, you're the best, and all those other things that help give you motivation, and just self-talk as well to And breathing is too, to mind yourself during the fight and during outside of fighting, constantly trying to get that fresh oxygen in the lungs so you don't gas and have more longevity during the rounds. So yeah, little things that she's bestowed upon herself to help give her the edge.
Right. How nervous do you get as a father watching?
It's
all the kids, not just Shazzy, but all the kids.
I tell people it's not nerves, it's more excitement. Because I see them in the gym so often, and I seen how much desire they have for their training. They're not skipping days. They're putting in the work, and they're looking sharp in the gym. And they have that passion to want to win. If they didn't have that, I'd be very nervous. But because I see how much they want it, that it's just, it makes me excited when they cross the ropes and to go out there and to do their business and to get their hand raised. Right. It's so it's more exciting than my fighting. It's. Would
you ever tell one of the kids they're not ready?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. But at this stage, they're going really good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Jazzy just won. Jesse just won. Gemma just won, too. They're a winner.
Jesse's off to America in November. He's going to go and train in Texas for 3 months and then prepare for the no-gi worlds. So he's been to America the last 3 years competing in the gi worlds. Okay. The first one, he got to the final. And then he did a maneuver where he flipped his opponent over. And then the referee was standing there, and Jesse, looking up, said, I believe that's 2 points. And the deduction, 5 points for talking to me. And then he lost by 2. So if he didn't say the comment, he wouldn't have been deducted the points, and he would have got gold. But unfortunately, and then being a kid at that stage is very emotional. But a massive lesson learned not to speak to the referee. Right. And he's been back the last couple of years, but the competition is so tough with all the best kids in the world competing. So this year he's really going to commit and go to Texas first and train with our Professor Bruno. And then, fingers crossed he become a champion too. Yeah.
Do you do BJJ?
A little bit. I keep hurting myself.
Okay. In BJJ?
Apparently BJJ is quite brutal on the body. I do Muay Thai. I have no problems whatsoever. I do jiu-jitsu every couple of sessions, and either my neck will go or my arm will go. I did something recently where I got caught in a guillotine, and then I had pins and needles down my right arm for about 5 days. Thought, this sort of sucks.
I was talking to Tony Jeffries last Friday, and as you know, he does BJJ as well, but he has something with his disc or his
I read recently he had to retire from the BJJ
because of boxing. So I wonder if there's something there with Muay Thai too, and just like being crouched over.
One of my last spars when I was preparing for my last boxing fight against Mundine, I got caught with a good hook by my friend Les Sherrington on our second last spar. And it was like 10 seconds ago. So as he hit me, I went to put my hand up and say, "Oh, stop!" Yeah. But the bell went. So I sort of saved face. Yeah. And then it hurt that bad that I was scared my last spar that I was going to get paralyzed because I thought something happened in my neck. And then I survived the last spar. And then during the fight, I'm thinking, "Oh, please don't get caught." And then I survived the fight, won the fight. And then everything was going really well. And then when I did jits, it felt like I tweaked the same spot in the neck that I got hooked with the hook with, and then and it scared me so bad. It's like, oh, you know what? Yeah. As much as I'd love to compete and get on the mats and everything else, I really don't want to, get seriously hurt.
What's the most scared you've ever been in a fight?
For an opponent or as during the. Because one of my scariest opponents was Orono. I fought a gentleman. I won my first 9 fights straight in Thailand, and then Orono was my first A class. So I remember they announced the fight on TV. Yeah. I was watching the Sunday afternoon fights from Omnoi. All right, this Saturday we've got a massive. Oh no, sorry. In a month's time we've got a massive show. Sangtan's fighting this guy. Someone's fighting this guy, and we have John Wayne Parr fighting Orono Pomungabun. And then everyone's just stopped and looked at me. And I didn't know who Orono was. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, you're fighting Orono. Yeah. I'm like, eh. And they go, no. You're fighting Orono. And then I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And then...
stop looking at me.
and then we got, during the fight, he was the first Thai. So I go, bang, bang, bang. I hit him. And he just looked at me, bang his gloves together. And then just come forward with this killer look in his eye. And then... then he cut me in the third, And then he cut me again not long after that again, and the fight got stopped 21 stitches. And then 3 years later, on the king's birthday, I was supposed to fight an orthodox fighter. And then I trained for the last 8 weeks and I was preparing. And then at the weigh-in, Songja said, "Oh, look, you're a little bit heavy." And then, funny enough, Masato was supposed to fight Orono, but Masato doesn't want to fight Orono because he's scared Orono has hepatitis, so Orono needs an opponent. So how about tomorrow you fight Orono instead? Like, and then Orono was a southpaw. I was preparing for an orthodox guy for the last 8 weeks. And it's like, And then, so I rang my trainer. It's like, "Sengten, we got some emergency. They want to change my opponent, Orono." And Sengten's like, "Perfect. I think this is the perfect timing. This is a great fight. I have a game plan. I'll tell you tomorrow." Tomorrow? Don't tell me tomorrow. You don't want to tell me now? No. I don't want you to lose sleep. I don't want you to think too much. So I'll tell you in the morning. So yeah, go to bed, wake up in the morning. Okay, what's the game plan, Sington? All right, so you know how you're orthodox? Tonight, I want you to fight southpaw. You want me to fight southpaw? Yeah, well, Orono's southpaw. So, and then he explained it really well. So if I fight orthodox and he's southpaw, that means his elbow's going to come through the center of your guard. But if you go southpaw, now that lead hand's going to block the elbow. Right. So that'll give me better protection. And then technically it made sense in my head, but in the theory of having to fight southpaw for the first time was like, So it's like, and then that internal war that I had for myself for the whole rest of the day and night, just going, I can't do this. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Maybe I'll do it for the first round. If it doesn't work, go back to orthodox. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And then even getting my hand wraps, getting my mom put up, I can't do this. Yes, I can. And then get onto the stage, walk down the runway. I'll just do it. I'm just going to do it. And then I end up saying southpaw for the first round and then smash him. Second round southpaw, third round southpaw. It's working. And I say southpaw the whole fight. End up winning by majority of the decision. Won the world title in front of 100,000 people live on Thai TV. But yeah, the fear. And there's one more time. This is my third fight against Yotsinglai. So the first fight I got dropped by Yotsinglai in the second round, went the distance, got cut. We rematched on the final of the contender, got dropped 2 times, 2 more cuts, went the distance. And then the third time we met, I remember it was the first time I was making $40,000. And then as I'm walking towards the ring, I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to hurt so bad. This is going to suck. But at least I'm getting paid, so it doesn't matter. I've got enough money to survive a couple months. So, so the money helped make the fear disappear.
Right, yeah. I was going to say, the equalizer, right? It really
the more
is.
money, the more the fear goes away.
Well, because I was going to ask, why did you keep going back into the ring after all these cuts and after all the fear?
Yeah,
you know?
But besides the money.
Besides the money.
Legacy.
The legacy.
So
what is legacy to you?
At that stage, to be remembered as like a great fighter, like not just someone that had a crack and one of the remembered that really put Australia on the map, and then hopefully can inspire young people to follow my footsteps like Roman Deckers did for me. Yeah, so every time I'd get tired in training or my opponents were scary, it's like, Roman Deckers do. And then he'd stay the course and he'd fulfill his. So that's what I have to do also if I want to follow his footsteps and be the name that he is. And then he got me through a lot, even though he wasn't there. It was just more mentally. So
I feel like you're already that for hundreds of fighters around. I mean, when I was saying I'm interviewing Wayne Parr, people are just like, holy cow, especially the Australian, like the younger Australian Muay Thai fighters around that I met in Melbourne, for example. Even people that don't actually fight or don't train, they're just like, wow, like that's,
nice.
So you are, legend and legacy, And what are you most excited for in terms of the sport?
The sport.
Yeah.
Just the opportunity for people to make decent money where they don't have to get a second part-time job. If you can survive off your prize money and hopefully live the same lifestyle that I got to live, traveling and competing, and then when you can dedicate 100% and then you can really shine at your potential. But when you're working jobs and trying to get distracted and then you're doing it as a part-time gig, it's hard to get to the next phase. So I was very fortunate to be given that opportunity to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live.
How do you think Muay Thai has shaped you as as a man, as a husband, and as a father?
When times got tough, I'd use my fighting as a way of punishment. I deserve to get beat up in sparring. If I'm having a bad day, it was yeah. So when you're happy, you go to training. When you're sad, you go to training. When you're angry, you go to training. It was like the ultimate therapy. Right. So whatever emotions I was going through at the time. And then the end of the fight was always the end of the rainbow. So that was always the... But it was just I believe Muay Thai is good for the soul because you're constantly working the body, you're active, you're always thinking about different game plans, and you're constantly on your toes, and you realize that fighting hurts, so you don't want to be arrogant and rude outside of the sport, because if you do get into altercation, it can lead to serious pain and possibly death. I got barstooled when I was 19 when I moved to Thailand. And then, that changed everything, because you soon realize that outside of the ring, there's no rules. And then, I got my head split all the way through. I got 14 stitches. And then... after that, I was like, I never want to street fight again. After being barstooled, I have no desire to be. And then everyone goes, "Oh, you're so nice. Why are you so humble?" Because I don't want to die.
How many stitches have you gotten altogether?
347. Yeah, I was going for 350, but I didn't quite get. I almost got there. Oh
my gosh.
But I get to the stage where it's like, I tell the doctors, can I please get my stitches in sets of 5s and 10s? So I don't want a 7 or a 3, because it throws off my OCD. And then it's easy to keep track with your 5s, so your 40s, your 45s, your 50s. You get it, And then somehow or other, my last one I got 3, and then I got 3. That's why I ended up with 347 instead of 350.
Okay.
So can't you just give me 2 more? Come on.
I mean,
come on, 3 more, sorry, 3 more.
Do you do any work around the house? Like maybe by accident something will happen. You don't need those stitches, right? Yeah. you'll get 3 more there.
Yeah, it's a weird sport. Yeah.
Do you think it's the most brutal?
I think so. Although MMA looks quite violent, because of when they get ground and pounded, there's nowhere for the head to go. When they're raining the elbows down, and they have no way to move. But also at the same time, with Muay Thai, it's like getting beat up for 5 rounds with the baseball bats, because there's just constant trauma. There's no wrestling, and there's no jiu-jitsu, there's no stalling, there's no pushing against the fence to hold your opponent. It's just non-stop trauma almost. So I think Muay Thai is probably the hardest, just because, like I said, and there's no tapping out. You either get knocked out or cut, or when it gets too much, you can't just, I want to stop now. Yeah. So, it's very painful.
Yeah. What is your role now as mentor and coach?
Mentor and coach. So I'm pad holder. I was very lucky to learn the Thai system of holding freestyle. Not many people know how to do it.
Tell us what that is for some people that don't know.
So what I do, I don't have to speak to my fighter. I can read their body language from the techniques that they're going to throw, and I can catch it before they've coming through. So they do their combination. I try and catch everything, and then I'm coming back with my own techniques. So they're learning not only offense but defense as well, and counters. So I'll throw a kick, they'll block it, they'll come back, and then it's on the ring. You don't have a trainer say 1, 2 hook, 1, 2 uppercut, 1, 2 kick. So you have to think for yourself. So in training, I replicate that same style, and then if I don't tell them about the attacks coming, and then they have to work on their own physicality to have that muscle memory to stay out of danger, and then once you get to that spot, you know they're ready to compete then, because everything's nice and sharp.
Yeah. We're going to do an episode on flow and like getting into that flow. So I could totally see that.
Yeah, it's almost like sparring with pads on. So, So I'm attacking, we're defending. I've got my shin pads on, so I can kick you back. You're coming straight back at me, and no words are needed. I'm just reading your body language, and then. yeah, and then it's almost like a fight instead of a premeditated. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Because on the ring, it's not going to happen like that.
No, exactly. And are you cornering a lot of fighters?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
So even when I was competing, we opened the gym in 2000. So I'd manage all the boys, and then I'd self-manage myself at the same time. So I'd talk to promoters, match my own fights, do my own game plans, tell the pad holders how I wanted the pads held for myself. If I didn't have a pad holder, I'd bring around and try and employ someone for a month or two to come and live in my house to hold pads for me for that time. And then at the same time, I was also looking after the 20, 30 other fighters I had in the gym and managing their fight careers also. So, yeah, it kept me very busy.
And now today, how many?
And then in between still teaching classes and PTs and everything else besides the training also. So I train from, say, 6:30 till 8, do PTs and classes until, like, lunchtime, have a couple of hours, come back to the gym, teach the fighters, and then train the classes. Come home about 9, have dinner, and then next day start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's such a fun lifestyle. It's so much. And then with the more fighters and the more name that they start to build, then more planes we catch to go to different international fights, and it's such a buzz to be in the corner and to have someone come in that doesn't know how to hold their hands up, to eventually molding them to know how to strike and to spar and to eventually get their first fight and to have them win their own belt. And it's like, wow, yeah, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, exactly.
To be there from the start and watching them become successful and live their own dreams through the sport.
And channeling your former trainers,
yes.
Right? Very, very cool. So we usually end the podcast with one last question. I'm just looking at the time. What truth has this entire journey revealed to you about yourself?
Oh, about myself. Oh, geez. That I'm capable of achieving whatever I set my mind to. I know that through hard work and determination, it might not always go smoothly, but I know I can get there in the end with as long as I don't give up.